Different intro. Welcome to That's Good Sports. I just wanted to post this video. We had Dave Dameshek on our podcast on my second YouTube channel, the That's Good Broncos channel. It's also, you can download the That's Good Broncos or subscribe to the That's Good Broncos podcast. But thought it was really cool for Dave to come on the show and bullshit with us for like over an hour about Broncos, Steelers, and Greece, and men's calves, a whole bunch of stuff. So if you're interested in that whole episode, it's on my other channel. But I wanted to post this clip up here on my main That's Good Sports channel to give Dave some love and all of his podcasts. So make sure you check out Extra Points with Cousin Sal, -3. And as always, the Daves of Thunder podcast. He's got 3 he's doing now every week. But enjoy.
We've got a game lined up for you, Dave. We put some I know you like gunslingers as opposed to, you know, the guys that cross the I's and dot the T's, but right. I did decide to put a little bit of preparation into this. And I'll preface it by saying the thing I like about both you and Brandon is you don't hide the fact that you're fans. You're homers even. I think you've said it yourself before.
I don't agree with that definition.
Okay, well we have to scrap the segment then.
just as I give Peyton and all those guys, I don't demean them. I don't marginalize them by calling them game managers. They're surgeons. A homer? No, I have a rooting interest. Perna has a rooting interest. I can't speak for him. I can tell you, it does not impact what I think is going to what I want to have happen versus what I think is going to happen are not always the same thing. As long as you can have that line, I think you remain semi-credible. But all that being said, hanging right behind me is a steel curtain football jersey and otherwise. So, take me with a grain of salt, of course.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess I'll amend this slightly.
No, go ahead. Play
the segment was called Homer Hypotheticals. I'll change it to rooting interest hypotheticals.
That's got a much better ring to it.
The alliteration.
Definitely.
Killed the alliteration a little bit. But
rooting interest
go ahead with it. So to me, these hypotheticals they're going to seem like they're just personal preference, which to an extent they are. But I think they're actually carefully thought out psychological checks that are going to determine who is, I said the greater homer, but who has a stronger rooting interest in their team. So we've got 3 hypotheticals. I'm going to ask I'm going to ask 3 to each of you. And Dave, because you're the guest, I'm going to start with you. So hypothetical number 1, Dave, you have been magically endowed with Adrian Peterson's iron grip handshake, as well as the ability to travel back in time. Whose hand do you shake and thus render unable to play prior to their signature playoff game? Neil O'Donnell in Super Bowl 30 or Tim Tebow in the 2011 wild card round?
Fascinating. I am going to go – I'll go with O'Donnell because he's the stinker for all of time. You know, they were going to win that Super Bowl. The Steelers were going to win that. That was the way that whole season went for them was they kept it close. And then the last couple of minutes, they would have at minimum forced overtime. And that would have been something Cowboys Steelers in overtime of Super Bowl 30. I got to say, I think we've talked about it before. Broncos fans love to hit me up to troll me about that one. That one never bothered me that much. My guy Ike Taylor got on that one, got the stiff arm and everything else. I don't mean to pee on the good times for Broncos fans because I know that was a special one, but from this woke Steelers fan, even if they would have won, like I think they had several injured. Like Casey Hampton got hurt in that game. He was done for the season. They like the season.
Here comes the excuse train.
That's right. That's what they said. The thing I remember more than anything else was watching Demaryius Thomas run down the sideline and the crowd going wild and all that. And I was thinking like, well, good thing for the new overtime rule because I guess now the Steelers get there, but and they're like, that's the game. I'm like, I don't understand the overtime rule. Obviously, wait, the game's over? Oh, well, that's a shame. Yeah, so I'll take O'Donnell.
Okay. You're playing directly into these hypotheticals. I really like it.
The worst game ever was when the Broncos came into Three River Stadium and Elway and when Cordell had the early lead.
Yeah.
That was one, man. That was the one. That one is one of the worst Steeler losses of my lifetime. That's like top 3 bad.
He threw a bad pick in the end zone in that game. Really,
he threw 2 picks in the end zone. At the end of the second quarter, he threw a deep. They were about to go up, I think, 17, and they wound up going into the locker room losing the game. Somehow, I don't remember how that all. And then an 8-minute drive to start the third quarter. And it gets picked off in the end zone, and that's when Romanowski is doing that Cordell thing. And all of a sudden you look up and you're like, wow, we got like 20 minutes left in the whole game now, and we're still trailing. But anyhow, please proceed.
I always think of – I don't know why either. It's just Yancey Thigpen is always the first player I think of from that
It's game. A great name, really. That's
just stuck with me for years. Yancey Thigpen.
He was good. He was good for a little while there.
Strongly resembled Tupac, I thought. He had the same look going on. Him and Kayvon Webster have
Kayvon definitely does.
Tupac look-alike support group. Anyway, all right, Brandon, similar question for you. Whose hand are you going back and crushing with your Adrian Peterson-like iron grip? Raheem Moore prior to the 2012 divisional round?
Could I have super strong calves instead and use that to crush them?
Like the Bond girl from Goldeneye?
Sure, yeah, whatever.
I think that kills them, but we'll just say it, knocks them out for the whole game.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Or do you crush Mark Brunell's left hand before the 1996 divisional round?
Who was the first one? I was thinking about my calves. Oh, Raheem Moore. Raheem
Moore against the Ravens, or Mark Brunell in 96.
Oh, I go Raheem Moore, easy. The whole losing to the Jaguars in that playoff wildcard game set the Broncos up to go back-to-back Super Bowl wins. I think it had like some sort of weird momentum shift. Intangible, you can't replace that. Raheem Moore is like the play we debated for taking back one Broncos play. I think if Denver gets to that Super Bowl, they win. It's just such a gaffe in that situation.
That really was bad. For the record, though, Peyton is the one who threw the interception, not Raheem Moore or anybody else.
And John Fox doesn't give Peyton Manning a chance with the ball with like 40 seconds left in the game when they had some timeout. So there's a lot of things you can look back to, but
that was a crazy one. I feel like the greatest Super Bowl that we didn't get, and I love like looking at, wow, that would have been a better matchup if whatever. Maybe the best one ever is the Falcons in '98 were not a bad team.
Oh yeah,
they were 13-3. Were they 14-2? I was going to say
14-2 yeah, against
2, and then you had 15 and 1 bike. But they didn't have that gear to hang with with Elway and company. If you would have had that crazy Vikings team against Elway and I guess what shaped up to be the last game of his career, the defending champs, I think that's the greatest Super Bowl that we were deprived of.
Yeah, I was so happy when Atlanta won that game.
I'm sure.
I was scared of the Vikings, and I was not scared of Dan Reeves in the Super Bowl.
It's weird because you guys don't get credit. It's funny because of that Vikings team that you avoid playing. The narrative 20-plus years later now is like, isn't as much respect as that Broncos team deserves because you knock off the Packers improbably. Like nobody in advance of that game thought that was going to happen. Then you come back the next year as a juggernaut, but because it was against the Falcons, it diminishes the back-to-back on some level. And if it would have been against the Vikings, people would hold up that Broncos team a little higher than they currently do. There's something nice about your team. See, I said something.
There we go.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting that, but way to go. All right, so I'm giving you both a homer/rooting interest point for your answers, and here's my explanation. So the true homer only ascribes agency to his own team. He can never admit that his team was outplayed, only that they beat themselves. So you, Dave, you took Neil O'Donnell. You'd have wiped Neil O'Donnell from history. And Brandon, you took Raheem Moore, both players from your own team. So you can't admit that you're outplayed a little bit. So I'm giving you both a full point for that one.
Perfect.
That's nice, eh?
We got round 2. What is 3 rounds?
It's a psychological test.
It is. I thought this through a little bit. All right. Brandon, you'll go first this time.
Okay.
These are 2 options, so you'll choose between the 2. Option 1, you're guaranteed 3 more All-Pro seasons with Von Miller, who later retires as a Bronco after a few more years, having settled into the role of mentor a la DeMarcus Ware. Okay, that's your first option. Option 2, as a punishment for Dan Snyder's crimes, the Washington football team skins are forced to trade Chase Young to the Broncos for a 2022 conditional 7th-round pick. So you get a really strong end to Von Miller's career, gets to retire with the team, or you get Chase Young for nothing, essentially.
Right. And you said he has all-pro type seasons?
He has 3 more all-pro seasons.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with Von.
We are bleeding into homerism here.
I'll play the short term. That's 3 premier seasons from the guy who carried this team to a Super Bowl win. I have to go with Von Miller.
You know what? I kind of like that answer, not just as a homer, because as we see now, remember everybody, it was not long ago that it was like, hey, all 5 of the QBs taken in the first round of the 2018, they all look good. They're all going to be good. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Josh Rosen, they're all going to work out. Now they're exactly 2. And Josh Allen lacks certain base, what you would assume are fundamental requirements for an NFL QB. The other 3 are like out to sea at this point. We don't know if they're ever going to fix things. So yeah, maybe playing for the here and now. And if Von Miller is an all-pro for 3 more years, that means he's playing really well.
Yeah.
And that means the defense is really good. I think I like your answer there.
I'm loyal.
Okay. All right, Dave, you got a similar proposition. So option 1, you're guaranteed 1 more Super Bowl appearance with Ben Roethlisberger under center. Whether he wins the Super Bowl, up to him. Option 2, tomorrow, in a preemptive cap relief transaction, knowing he will have to pay his quarterback in 2023, Bengals owner Mike Brown trades Joe Burrow to the Steelers in exchange for Mason Rudolph. So another Super Bowl appearance at least with Big Ben, or you just get to absorb Joe Burrow from your rival.
Look, I've been riding since 2004 with Big Ben Roethlisberger. I'm not jumping off now. I want to see one last trip to the Super Bowl. I want to see he played in Super Bowl 45 against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. They were down 6 points. They get the ball with 2 minutes to go. If he throws a ball and it bounces off somebody's head and it goes into Hines Ward's arms and he runs it in for the touchdown, is there any debate that Roethlisberger is one of the 6 or 8 best quarterbacks of the Super Bowl era? Now it's kind of like on the fence and I don't know and everything else. And also, if I can be cute with my answer too, this isn't 5 years ago. We now have reached QB saturation in the NFL. QBs, everybody has a good QB. It's not as hard as people make it out to be. Like I say, 5 years, 10 years ago, it was like half the league stunk at QB. Now most teams who has a deficit at QB outside of the Bears and I don't know. I guess you guys are TBD maybe, but but like when the worst QB going is Mitchell Trubisky, that ain't bad. Yeah. You know, like it wasn't very long ago. It was like Case Keenum. Like you're gonna start Case Keenum in an NFL game on purpose? That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, it might be like Ryan Fitzpatrick and Phillip Rivers right now.
And that's something that's maybe literally true. You know who else we want to throw into that group? Nobody likes to hear it. Drew Brees isn't very good at football anymore.
That Brandon, you got to clip that up and
just put it all over social media.
Yeah,
he's not. I mean, did you see Brady? Oh, what's going to happen with Brady in Tampa? Like, yeah. I know his team lost, and I know Brady wasn't great, but he was better than number 9, the home for the home team.
That's true.
Yeah, Drew Brees, his arm.
Disagree.
His arm looks his age.
That's right. Let's see. For real, right now in 2020, you take Michael Thomas off the field. All right. Win some games, Drew Brees. Let's see. Because everybody now knows that he does not throw the ball past 10 yards. So how is this team going to generate they have a potentially dominant defense is the answer. But, teams are going to – Alvin Kamara couldn't get off against the Bucs, even though he scored 2 touchdowns. He couldn't really get going. I think you're going to see that classic kind of like take Kamara away, make this QB beat us. Forget the name brand that is Breeze. I think he's a liability for them now.
Okay. I like that.
Maybe it be great. What if we see Jameis in there?
I think in terms of entertainment, I don't think anything can beat Jameis on a Super Bowl ready team.
Jameis throwing a pass to Taysom Hill.
I do. Jameis in the playoffs, I think.
The sexiness.
I love that. That's a great idea. Yeah. Watch from the sidelines, Drew.
Yeah, hold the clipboard, pal. All right, so back to the hypothetical. Neither of you get a point for this one, and here's my reason. You can disagree with me, but in my opinion, the homer in this situation will always opt for the 2 rings in the bush rather than the 1 ring in the hand. That was a little phrasing that I didn't pick up on paper.
The hell are you talking about, friend?
Anyway.
My kids could listen to this.
Yeah, that's why you got the headphones on. Earmuffs. Yeah, so the homer always believes that the possibilities for his team are infinite rather than kind of the guaranteed 3 All-Pro seasons versus the guaranteed Super Bowl appearance. You think if you get Joe Burrow, you're going to the Super Bowl every other year if you're a true homer. And if you get Chase Young, he's, you're penciling him into the Hall of Fame. So you got back-to-back Hall of Fame pass rushers, pairing Bradley Chubb too. So in my estimation, the homer answer would have been the more, limitless possibility answer.
No, but we're loyal to those who have been loyal to our franchises. I think that says something.
I think that's rational, though. I think that's rational.
I thought I locked it up by picking Vaughn, but round 3, Will. Give us round 3.
I disagree with the judge. I disagree with the judge's rendering here.
I do too. And it's our podcast. Shit.
If you want to take this segment over to your podcast, you can rule it however you want.
I just consider this entire podcast under protest.
Trademark. That's Good Broncos 2020.
Yeah, put up a billboard over the freeway in New Orleans. Okay. Round 3. You guys are both tied at 1.
Okay. This is
good possibility of a tie, in which case I did not write a tie breaker. You'll have to deal with it. This one's longer, so buckle up. Dave, you're going first.
Okay.
All right. Before his death, Al Davis instructed that he be buried with a mysterious, unlabeled film reel that sits beside him below a gravestone that reads, "Just live, baby." Mark Davis awakes suddenly, sweating profusely, having just remembered a decade later that his father left a $25 gift certificate to P.F. Chang's in the breast pocket of the silver and black suit his father was buried in. Mark Davis does the only thing he can, and that, of course, is to exhume his father.
Okay. Mark with digs you so up, far. This far checks out. This all makes sense so far. Okay.
This is, this is not science fiction. This could happen.
Okay.
Where the fuck was I? Oh, yeah. Mark digs up his father and finds the gift certificate right where he left it. But the younger Davis becomes stricken with despair, not because he disturbed his father's eternal rest, but because the gift certificate expired back in 2013. Suddenly, the mysterious film reel catches his eye. He takes it back home with him and sticks it in the Raiders' old-timey film projector, which they just stopped using when they left Oakland last year. Incredible. The film reveals a new angle of the Immaculate Reception, shot by Abraham Zapruder himself, showing not only that Franco Harris caught the ball cleanly, but also that Frenchie Fuqua never deflected the pass. Obviously, to make sure Raiders fans still have something to bitch about 50 years later, Davis decides to destroy the film, but ends up losing it in the hand of No Limits Texas Hold'em during a late night at the Circus in Vegas. The pit boss, a Steelers fan, gets his hands on it and turns it into you, prominent Steelers fan Dave Dameshek, who can share this definitive footage with the world and finally put to bed all conspiracies. Before you tweet the footage, a beat-up Chevy Cavalier pulls up to your house. Out steps Mark Davis, holding a briefcase filled with $500,000. Davis offers you the money in exchange for the film. Plus, you have to publicly announce that you believe the Immaculate Reception was an illegal play. Do you accept or reject the offer? That's the hypothetical.
This could happen.
This could happen
soon in the next week or so.
$500,000 is a lot of money.
It is interesting that the Raiders have been on the wrong end of so many postseasons, even a mile high. You guys are too young to remember, but the precursor to Super Bowl 12 with Craig Morton and company was I forget what was his name?
Rob Lytle.
Rob Lytle fumbled the ball before he got to the goal line.
Allegedly.
I'm buying time so I can find my answer. You know what? Al Davis and John Madden stunk, and so did that whole Raiders team. I didn't like their spirit.
Yes.
Creeps, I don't care. Find out whatever you want to find out. You had it coming to you. You guys are a bunch of bums. It's like the Patriots complaining about anybody else cheating. Guess what? You showed us how. I learned it by watching you. I don't care what videotape or film or whatever else you have. Dude, go ahead and announce it. Do whatever the hell you want. I'll take my money too. I want bugs. At least give me the gift certificate. Where was it? CPK? Where were
P.F. Chang's.
P.F. Chang's. I'll take it.
I don't think California Pizza Kitchen's around anymore. I think it went under.
No, they are. They are. My wife and I used to. There was one close to our house in LA, and we would go there. And every time I'm like, "How did we spend so much money eating dinner at California Pizza Kitchen?" It was the bottles of wine that get you. I tell you.
Sure does.
It's like $180 for CPK. What are we doing?
Well, how many bottles of wine were there? You're
maybe a couple. I don't know. We had drinking problems.
I see.
We figured it out since. That was a great question, Will.
That was.
Thank you. I wanted to.
Had a lot of elements.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, look. Come on.
Who stole? But what's weird is that somebody swiped that. Like, couldn't it conceivably have still been there? Like, but somebody stole it. Now there's a whole nother mystery that needs solved. The stolen P.F. Chang's card.
No. It expired.
Oh, expired. I'm sorry. You're right. I got confused. Yeah, there was a lot to consider. That
the real mystery is why Al Davis would have that footage and he himself not show it to the world.
No. Because the film showed that what Steelers fans.
Oh, you're right.
It justified the Steelers fans. It showed that. Showed an angle where Franco Harris caught it cleanly, it did not bounce off of Fuqua. It bounced off whoever the Steelers defender was.
If we've learned anything from this thought experiment, Will, it's that Perna and I aren't listening to you that closely. Yeah, that's the main.
That was a long one. I'm not going to hold it against you.
That's every week during our podcast. Yeah. Will is talking, and I am trying to announce super chats.
That's another support club in and of itself.
All right, final question. Okay. Give it to me.
Yeah, final question.
We can get Dave out of here.
Yeah, seriously. All right. Brandon.
Sorry, I didn't know I was that bad a guest. Fine, get me out of here.
Let's kick his ass out. All right. The same magical force that whisked you back in time earlier has sent you back to Sarah High School in San Mateo, California, 1993. A 16-year-old Tom Brady has just been offered some grass from the local stoner. Brady, having just seen the 1993 Richard Linklater film Dazed and Confused, is compelled to risk his future and take his first bong rip. Suddenly, as you watch from the bushes like a creep, the ghost of John Hamm appears and begins speaking to you, much like in It's a Wonderful Life. Hamm informs you that the weed has been laced with a special poison that will cause Brady to gradually stop caring about football and spend all of his time eating cereal, watching cartoons, and chilling out, man. Your natural inclination is to let nature run its course and disarm the quarterback that would cause you so much grief in the 21st century. However, Ghostly John Hamm reveals to you that if Brady stops playing football, it will create a ripple effect that eventually causes Peyton Manning, future Broncos Hall of Fame quarterback, to develop his own crippling drug habit, a debilitating bath salts addiction picked up in a trip to Gainesville, Florida in 1996 that causes him to flame out at Tennessee, never reaching the NFL. Do you let Brady ruin his career, knowing Manning's legacy goes out the window with it, or do you take the pain of the Patriots dynasty as long as you get to experience that beautiful 4-year run with Peyton Manning?
I just want to say, what an easy question. Go ahead, Perna.
Well, now I'm second guessing what I was going to answer. I think it's easy for Dave because he doesn't love Peyton Manning the way I do. Oh man, I'm not going to be. Okay, I've got my answer. I stopped Brady from ruining his football career. The pain the Patriots have caused me have also helped me monetize my YouTube channel. So part of me has to thank them for letting me, pay my mortgage. But also, I have to believe that without Peyton Manning's career, at this point in my life, I couldn't have hope that the Manning family would become the next owners of the Denver Broncos. So I am going to keep Peyton Manning's career, and I'm going to endure Tom Brady, because even though everybody else is going to put him up on this pedestal, I know in my heart that he's just a good quarterback and not the best quarterback to ever play the game. Okay. And no rewriting of history can change that in my belief system.
Rewriting of history. Listen, here's the thing with Tom Brady and the 21st century Patriots. Maybe this will make you guys feel better too, as a fan base that has suffered for their achievements this century. This thing about, like, do we need to put an asterisk in the history books or whatever? It's like, do people imagine that there is some great book of football history? Like, we will now impose in permanent ink the thing. Like, they're already stained, so we already have that over them. But I would think if you're a Broncos fan through and through, you would say, all right, we had some nice years with Peyton, but we also had an entire career with John Elway. And if you take Brady and Peyton out of the mix, John Elway has a strong case as the best quarterback of the Super Bowl. Isn't that more satisfying to you than otherwise? And it's easy to me too, because if you take those two guys out of the 21st century, this guy over my shoulder here, number 7, Big Ben Roethlisberger, fist bump Big Ben, is maybe in that conversation too.
Fair enough.
Okay, Dave.
I thought about that.
That little addendum at the end there, bringing Ben Roethlisberger into the competition, you win the biggest homer in the world.
Oh my God!
It wasn't even your question, and you stole it, and
wasn't even done,
and won it.
Without Peyton Manning, John Elway doesn't have a case to be also the best GM in NFL history. Which,
all right, you want more black and gold out of this guy? The single most important figure to one sports franchise in North American sports, probably the whole world, is Mario Lemieux. People say John Elway, he's good. Lemieux, better.
Interesting.
More homerism for you. It's inarguable.
Yeah. Look, Dave, you already won. You don't need to show off.
Gilding the lily. Get ready, because it's all black and gold over orange and whatever you call your blue color throughout
Just
this
blue.
We go with blue.
Just blue.
Again, the That's Good Broncos podcast. Subscribe there, download. We'll be dropping, I think, 2 to 3 pods on that podcast channel, powered by DNVR Sports every week. So, yeah, now you know.